Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live on here. Hey, y'all. Good, what? Evening? Y'all, we all messed up. I think all of us had a late night. We are pushing through to get to this Thursday. I am Tiffany. Welcome to the Four Opinions. We are so super excited to have you guys here tonight.
Hi, everyone.
November 1st. New month, new beginnings.
My birthday month.
Yep, your birthday month.
Your birthday month.
29 days of celebration. Everybody know my birthday is a freaking holiday, so we started today. But we are happy to be here. I guess we could say that.
Yeah.
So we got a topic that we are going to be talking about tonight. But y'all know I already said I want to know how y'all week been. How's everything going? What crazy things we saw this week or what's going down? Ebony, you go first.
Okay, nothing crazy.
Crazy?
No, we're in Minnesota. So nothing crazy has happened. I mean, pretty much, I worked a full-time job. I worked a second job. And take care of my kids. My life was pretty boring.
Yeah.
And you so what you Halloween? Did you pass out candy or something?
I did not pass out candy. I did go to trunk or treat, so that's where people go to a spot. People open up their trunks. They have candy in them, and then they give you candy as you go around to each of the cars. So I said, as long as nobody's putting my kids in their trunk, we good.
Is that what at a church function or y'all just?
Yeah, it was at a church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, it is.
That's a safe way to do it.
Yeah. That probably should be fun. I think they do it in my hometown too.
It's called the same
Just trunk or treat. Yeah, I think they all just park their cars and kind of like decorate their trunks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's cool. It's a cool idea.
It is. I've never heard of that till just now.
Trunk or treat?
Yeah. Because I'm used to people going to the mall and trick-or-treating there. You know
I forgot about the mall. I forgot the mall does that, yeah. But my kids are older. They don't really trick-or-treat. They just went out there and was like, Mom, can I get some candy? I said, yeah. So they went outside.
You know what I hate about it? I be waiting for my grandkids to go so I can get all that candy. And I'm like, they come home with like 10 pieces of candy. I'm like, did y'all take them out? And they're like, no, we went to the rec center. I'm like, that was used to be the goal to have a big old garbage bag full of candy. Like, they are so not like us.
We used to do pillowcase. We used to do pillowcases. Yeah, my daughter came. She had a pillowcase. But it had, like you said, like this much. And I'm like, did y'all trick or treat? She's like, yeah, we went 3 blocks and we were tired. Then we went back and hung out. No, that is whack.
I asked my son to take me trick or treating, and he was like, "No, Mom."
That's messed up.
He did the right thing.
It's like, why are you asking me to take you
Because my oldest one was at work. I'm like, somebody need to take their mom out trick or treat.
No candy.
What you do, La Nina?
So for those who don't know, I am actually into property management. So I manage quite a bit of properties. And of course, my rant for this week, and maybe it might help some of you that are renters out there. When you vacate a property, when you vacate your unit, please, folks, please clean up. If there is domestic, because this one just happened to be domestic, there was punched holes in the wall, kicked in doors, and children crams everywhere. And then she had the audacity to argue with me over everything that I was getting ready to charge her for. And don't think for a second I didn't, because I am. I am.
Fun week.
I know. Yeah. She wanted to be confrontational, but you know me.
Did you have a drink that night?
I wanted to. I called you, as a matter of fact. I was like, let's go throw some back. Yeah, I did.
Like she did. When she says that to me, then I know it was rough. I'm like, okay, Applebee's, here we come.
Because I'm not a drinker.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm the drinker.
Well, then we didn't.
Yeah. Oops.
You know you're the alcoholic.
So, whatever. So as far as me this week, nothing interesting, just work, trying to get this new software down. Otherwise, yesterday we went to dinner, and then for Halloween we didn't pass out candy.
Oh yeah, what did y'all say before the cameras got on, little meanies?
I turned off all my lights. Don't come in my house.
So mean.
We did too. We turned off mine. I went and took a bath and had my nightcap, and I went to bed pretty much. That was my Halloween.
I went to that karaoke. That's why we were so tired. Because we went to that karaoke thing, and then we get in about like 1:30, and then you got to get ready because I have to be at the station at 5. So you got to get up at like 3:45.
So you slept for like a hour
20 minutes.
You
so
did like this.
You got to put, it was too much. So, yeah. So, that was my week. So, we was talking about, did everybody see that Facebook costumes?
It was a lot of costumes. I think a couple of my favorites. Somebody reenacted the Power scene. I don't know if everybody watches Power,
Angela.
but they reenacted the scene where Omari Hardwick, where Angela got shot, and then he was holding her, and then he looks up and he screams. So they actually reenacted that. Yeah. And then another one was somebody actually did some Toy Army men. So they were actually standing on the platform, and they're all green. And it was really nice. So they looked like the Toy Army men.
Cool.
They reenacted that. Yeah. So I thought those were the best. I thought those were
You know what? I'm so mad. My friend told me that she went somewhere, girl. Somebody was a trophy. So they made themselves a trophy. Like they had their hair all. I was like, I think I'm gonna be there next year. I'm just spray paint my all gold. Like she's like, I have a trophy. She had the little crate and she spray painted that gold. She made herself a trophy.
Oh, that's different.
I know.
That's
like,
cute. Yeah.
We should do that next year. We should just all be trophies.
We'll let you be a trophy.
That's right. Y'all know I will be. No, I should be a trophy tomorrow. Because tomorrow's the 2nd. And we got 28 more days for my birthday. Right?
Okay, yes. So you should be a trophy
tomorrow.
For tomorrow. And take pictures.
Okay. All right, y'all. So, getting to the topic. Y'all know I was trying to avoid it, but no, I wasn't trying to avoid it.
I was about to say, please don't try to avoid it. You came up with it. How you trying to avoid it?
No, but I just wanted to go home, go to sleep tonight. Like, can we?
You can't. We're on the podcast.
So we
have viewers.
Okay, y'all. So
Brenda's out of town, and you watching. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Thank you for your support. Okay, y'all. So in 15 more days or less, I actually talked to my son last night. I am expecting my 5th grandchild.
Nice.
So it'll be the second boy. Thank you. Second boy. My first one is Ariana, of course, and then I had my grandson Jace, who I have not seen in 3 or 4 years. Him and the girl went together, I don't know if he wanted to share this, but I am, so I'm the mama. But yeah, they were together, and somehow when they got together, due to some whatever, they didn't make it, and she decided to make the choice, her and her mom, that she wanted to take Jace away from us. And due to my son went off to college, he graduated from Vermilion. They just was having a lot of issues. A young couple didn't get along. A lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of just very immature. They was actually in college together, and they just, I don't know what happened because they really don't tell you the whole story. But anywho, she ended up taking my grandson away from us, and we have not seen him. So that was very hard for us. I would just remember my son he had to make a decision to either work or, go to college, and, he tried to make the best decision so he could, be this person. So statistically, he wouldn't be the person that they said that he would be. Mm-hmm. So he went off to college and did everything that was supposed to be right, but she still made the decision to keep him away from us. So now, 5 years fast forward, he has another baby that's on the way. So she's an awesome girl. Her name is Megan. They are together somewhat. I mean, they together. He works, she works, or whatever. But she's having a baby, and we have an outstanding relationship. We get along. We talk. We don't talk every day, but we're cool enough. And she kind of explained to me that this similar situation wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. I do trust her. I do believe. I met her parents. It's different than the first situation. But, it kind of led me up to have a conversation, because not even that I went through it, I know of a lot of people that has been through a similar situation where the mother ultimately get to make this decision to make the choice of not allowing the father to be a part of the son or the daughter's life. And I know we go on Facebook sometime, and it breaks my heart, because you see some fathers, white or black, that wants to be a part of the kid's life, but due to the fact that they didn't work out, the mother can just ultimately make a decision to say, I'm going to take the child away, and it's okay. You know what I mean? Because my son, he actually went to court, and it was like we came to court, it was just him and I think I talked about this in one of the podcasts. And when we went there, like, she had like a whole, I think I made a joke about it. Like, she had John Cochran and everybody up in there. And it was just me and him because he thought that he could just go into the court and say, hey, I'm the kid's father. I would like parenting time. It was not like he didn't want custody. He didn't want to, I want, all this stuff. I just want parenting time. I just want to get him on Monday and Wednesday. Or I want to, get him on Thanksgiving or Christmas. But, when we got in there, it was like, before you can do that, and not prior to having any records or anything, you have to take a drug test. You have to go to anger management. You have to go to parenting class. You have to do this, but you didn't have to do all this prior to getting her impregnated. So, this is just how it was. And this was like what the judge told him that he had to do. Not like he had an extensive record of saying that he did this prior. This is what he had to do just to get a day or two out the week. So, like Cheryl Underwood said, making a long story long, it's just, I think that she's having a baby, and it's like no, thing or ill will to her. It seems like I want to kind of like be an advocate for like, how do we get the choice? Because I remember when I had my kids, I was one of the mothers that did not keep my kids away from the father. And it wasn't because of, and they wasn't like the top-notch dads. It was just like, no, it's two of us. And it was certain things that they weren't doing as fathers, but it wasn't still like, I'm going to keep Aaron away from you because, this. It was just, no, come get your child. I don't care if you walking looking crazy every day, you come get your son. You know what I mean? So that's how I came up with the topic today, to kind of just talk about that and, to speak up for some of the men that is out there that's like, they having a hard time,
right.
Because the law is making it difficult.
So say what the topic is.
The topic is.
What's the topic?
The topic is, I don't even know
fruits or vegetables.
It is fruits. It's the reasons. We want to go through some of the reasons why it is acceptable or unacceptable for a parent. And we didn't just say the women. I just pretty much put my son and his girlfriend out there as far as that. But what reasons are acceptable for a woman or a man to have the right to have a child not be a part of the other person's life? So that was the topic today. So so we kind of did our homework, as we always say, because y'all know we are very proud of us doing our homework. So we was gonna go down a couple of things that I came up with, and we want to see if we are in agreement of the reasons for the child not being able to. And we can say woman or man, and if the men are on here, they can have an opportunity to tune in if they would like to see if it's okay or not. And not you, Keith, not out there. Okay, so.
Before you get started, can I just read something?
Yeah.
It says, can unmarried fathers take child from mother? An unmarried father has no legal rights to custody or visitation of the child. Only a legal parent can ask the court for custody or visitation. So when these men and women are unmarried, and when the woman has a child, it is seen instantly that that's her child.
Yeah, I know.
Instantly, it's her kid.
And I didn't know all that. And I didn't know when, when my son
Instantly.
went to the hospital, and we was like, and I was at work that day, and he was in the hospital. I'm like, son, make sure you sign all the paperwork that you need to sign. And it was like, the nurse was like, well, you don't have to sign. You could come back and do this. And I'm like, don't leave that hospital before you sign all the paperwork, stating that you are the father or whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, by law, they are initially, she can make all the decisions.
She can make the decisions.
But I don't think that's.
I didn't. It makes sense almost, but
It's her.
But how can you explain that? Because I just don't think that you still have a right to say.
Say what?
To say that because it's your body, then it's both of your child.
It's both your child, but let's just say he doesn't want to be a part of the child's life. Just because he signs off, does that instantly make him, that makes him the father because he signed it, but is he really going to be the father? He might act right in the beginning, but then who said he's going to stay? He might take off. I think women, we go through it. Sorry, guys, but our body, our babies.
How you feel about it?
I kind of actually don't really agree with that. I I mean, because it took two of us to lay down and have that child. I didn't get pregnant by myself.
True.
So with that being said, yeah, we may have carried that baby for 9 months, but it's still his child. At the end of the
It's still
day,
his
it's
child.
still his child. And as far as making decisions, sadly, and I cringe to say this, but you almost have to kind of listen. I'm not saying act on it. I'm saying listen to their opinion when it comes to making decisions, smart decisions for the children.
Right, and that's the thing that boggles me. Like even when you coming up with that rightfully to say so, how do we just say that the mother has a right?
Who makes the decision? Who
Who made that decision? We should have did homework and found that out.
Right.
Like who's to say that? But I guess, like you said, automatically, and that was something that they did say in court about my son. They said she ultimately had to, they had the right to say so. Like to this day, like she could say so, like he cannot, and that's just the thing about it. So, but right now, things are gonna be changing, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have took this long to do so. Like, if he wanted to come to the daycare, like what? How could she say you cannot come to daycare? Or if he was in the football game, how could she say you cannot come to a football game? Like what?
A person can say what they want all day long. It's actually the decision that's.
Well, it's way different when your parents is on the police squad. So. But that's his choice for picking that. But anyway, so we're not gonna go there today because I get to be saying some stuff I ain't got no business saying, lose some friends. Okay, so is it okay as a parent to make the decision? We're gonna say women or men, and men you can chime in. Is it okay to keep the child away if the parent is paying or not paying child support?
Is it okay to keep the child away if the parent is paying or not paying child support?
Or not paying. So can you make a decision? So if he's okay, just say if he's not paying child support, can you make the decision of him not seeing the child? Or him or her? Well, we just talk about him now because it's only us, but.
So, are you asking, is it okay for either parent to say, you know what, until you pay child support, you're not going to see your child?
Right.
So
That's a tough one.
Well, my situation.
Go ahead.
I actually pay my ex-husband child support.
Ooh. I think that took that because it's not too many situations where a woman has to pay into child support.
In Minnesota, 50-50. Whoever makes the most is who pays. So, with that being said, I pay him child support, but when it comes to making decisions, he does what he does with the boys on his time, and I do what I do with the boys on my time. We do not co-parent. We tried the whole co-parent thing, but when you let other people influence you, when you have other people in your ear, instead of listening to what's good for the family, what's good for the boys, you want to make your decision, and then when it backfires, everybody's looking for mama to save the day and fix what you done made wrong right. Then I have to come in and fix it.
So wait a minute. So by you paying child support, do you think that ultimately you should be able to make all the decisions?
Well, my kids are grown. Basically, my oldest one is grown. My little one's on his way to being grown. So I really allow them to make a lot of decisions because I want them to be smart, successful young men. Mm-hmm. So I allow them to go ahead and make that first decision. But I do give my opinion on if I think their decision is right or wrong. Now, if I'm strongly against it, I'll say, hey, I'm strongly against this, but, I mean, if it backfires, I'm here to fix it. But at the same time, again, we kind of do our thing, and then he does his thing with them when they're with him.
Right. So that's I haven't heard of a female paying child support. That's rare.
Yeah, she's the first. I know too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I because of the field that I'm in, I hear a lot of women. Well, I put it like this: here recently, I've been hearing where women now pay child support, being that they are the breadwinners. They now pay child support because, like I said, Minnesota is and I had a lawyer. He had a lawyer.
Wow.
We both paid huge retainer fees. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I went in there blindsided. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? So we both was lawyered up. And the judge said, you make this and he makes that. You pay him. And that's how that went down.
Yeah.
So let's read some comments. David says, parenting should not be tied to payments of support. A child should be able to see their parents Thanks. And then Vera says, it shouldn't matter who pays child support. Don't keep the kids away from their parents.
And I totally agree with that. I feel like child support has nothing to do with it. If you pay child support, it is what it is. If you don't, that's fine. Guess what? You're still going to have your weekends or your weeks or, whatever visitation you have. If we have custody 50-50, then you're going to do that. Child support is going to be there. It's going to stay. It's not going nowhere. So even if they don't pay, then guess what? It ain't going nowhere. So when that child turns 18, like, woo, okay, woo, that's it. But, hey, you forgot you got a bill.
Right.
So it just all depends. And then that's how, it depends on how those parents work that situation out as well. Because I know some situations where the parents do have, joint custody, but one may still pay child support. They may go back to the court and say, you know what, if I have joint custody, why am I paying child support? I do for my child, so why do I have to do that? We're both coming out of our pocket.
I did that. So, I hear exactly what you're saying. We both had 50-50 custody, went back to court, and again, when you make more money, you still have to pay. Well, we both have lifestyles. We lived.
Right. Would I be the devil's advocate that I think that was more of a malicious move than
I think so too.
Right. I wouldn't think that a man would like.
Because I had a man judge. I had a man judge. So I was all.
I think that's
fired
just my
up.
opinion. Yeah.
Because I really felt like how he did me was very wrong. But then
especially
he said,
if y'all got a 50-50, like him to be like, yeah, judge, I need her to pay me
pulled
child
up this
support.
calculation sheet. It's a Minnesota State. You can Google it. It's a Minnesota State sheet. And it says mom is Exhibit A, dad is Exhibit B, 50-50 joint, and it breaks everything down, and whoever pays the most, whoever makes the most in income, is the one who pays that difference to them.
So doesn't it also have something to do with where they sleep too?
We have 50-50.
Right.
Didn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And it's funny because
I would have been adding all kind of stuff on there.
That we're bringing up, like it was so bitter, it was so bad between the two of us. I never ever tried to keep my children from him, and I was pissed that I had to pay child support. That I paid child support, but I never would try and keep my boys from their dad. Never. But him,
that's because he thought for sure that he was going to have to pay you. So that's why he was. I think they seeked out that judge because he was known to be on the men's side. Most of his cases he granted for men. His lawyer knew that, and they sought out that.
She is my sister, for those who don't know, and she was in court with me every step of the way. Her, my mom, my dad, my family, just like how you were there, my family was there with me the whole step of the way. And it was just him and his lawyer.
Yep.
And he threw the book right at me. He was like, you're the one. They were asking questions, and neither one of them could answer the questions, but mom, who knows the school district, who knows this, who does. I was the one to answer those questions, and the man still was just like, no, you pay.
Yeah, I think nobody was on
It's
So the other one I had, would you keep your child away from a parent who's abusive to you, but not to the child?
Yeah, because I don't know if he might, eventually if he can't get to me and he's pissed, he might take it out on the kids. So I would try to avoid the child having a long time with them. I would.
So in my situation, he was abusive to me, and my children saw it. Physical, verbally, mentally, he was to me. Now, when we separated, again, my boys being as old as they are, I gave them that option. I like I said, I was never one of those parents to keep my children away, but at the same time, I also wanted them to see with their eyes what their dad was doing to their mother, and had to make it clear, you don't treat a woman that way. With how you see your dad doing me, you do not do to another woman. You do not do to your girlfriend. You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard, because I'm raising two boys to men, to say, hey, this is not what you do, because my boys love their dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? They love their dad. And when they're kids, they don't see no wrong in their parents, and they don't see no wrong in the dad. So even talking about the dad, or even saying things, they are not going to see what you already know, what you already been through with this person, because they're young, they got young minds, and they're not quite there yet. You know what I mean? So they really love their dad. Now I can say now, being that one is grown and one is close to being grown, it's a whole new ball game, and kids now see for themselves how things really are, how they really are.
Yeah, it could be difficult.
I think if a person was abusive, I mean, I guess if they're not in the same household, I mean, I guess in growing up, if you're in an abusive marriage, I guess that would be different versus because if you're abusive, I mean, I can't let you be abusive to me. We're not in the same household. I don't know. I guess I can't really fathom that question and answer it. Yeah. So because I don't with my. I mean, I have a cordial relationship with my children's father. I mean, with my children's father, but I mean, we don't interact. We just talk about the kids, and that's it. You know, so but there's no abuse or anything going on like that. I don't think I would let anybody get that close to me. And you're not in the same household paying my bills or anything like that. I don't think. I mean, that's something I don't think.
At once upon a time, was he ever that way? I mean, when y'all were together in the household?
No.
He just was.
No, our break was so fast. It was quick. Like once everything went down, he moved out. We got divorced. That was it, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like when I say the whole entire process was very, very quick. I mean, it was quick. It was quick. I didn't make no. What about you, Tiffany?
I just think that. I mean, I've never been in a situation where he was abusive to me and just to the child. I never had to make that type of decision. But I was kind of just thinking. I think I came up with my son because I was just like. When they were in college together, because this is how he got in trouble. He was at the school, and so she had kept the kid away from him. So he said when he's sitting in the hallway, he's like, "Where's my son?" And of course, see, that's why I really like talking about it, because I don't want to be like it's a race thing, but it really is, and I kind of call it how it is in my opinion. And so of course when he get in her face, it's. Oh my God, I'm scared for my life. And I wasn't there, so I don't want to make it seem as if, because I always tell my son, I never put myself in a situation that I don't put myself as a mother first, prior to me being to him being my son. I try to be fair in both arenas of that. So I knew his frustrations and him going with that. And so I know him constantly calling up. I want to see my son, showing up, and she, get away from us. And he got his son. That's my son. I want to see my son. So anyway, they in college together, and from what the part that I know of it, that they was in school and she had been avoiding him. So he ends up like getting in her face, like, I need to see my son, and blah, blah, blah. So she, security, he trying to, and I'm just doing this whole scenario of how I thought that it went down, but per witnesses, that's how it went down. And so at this point, now I'm terrified of my life. And the whole thing is like, and I see my son in court, like weeping, and like the only reason why I was being aggressive and yelling and in her face was, girl.
Because he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because I want to see my son. So it's like, I have to see the pain of my son saying it's like, he wasn't just doing it, just to be like, I'm going to whoop your ass because I just want to whoop your ass. He's like, I want to see my son. So when she gets to stand in front of a judge and say that to them, then you like, okay, so now, so when she gets to court though, this is what I did like about our judge. It was a white female judge as well. So when she came to court with these accusations and she was saying that, what she did say is, well, I will keep a restraining order against you and him, but he has done nothing to his child. So therefore he could proceed to see his son.
Yeah.
But what you and him got going on, I could put a plan in for that, but he has not done any harm to the child. Correct. So therefore it could be. So that's why I kind of like, when you think about that, it's like, man, again, she can make a decision to say, I'm uncomfortable because you in my face, and not because you in my face because you aggressive with me, because you hit me before, because you are an abuser. It's because I no longer want to be a part of, I'm mad because you got a girlfriend now, or I'm mad because you and I are no longer together, so I'm going to take our child. And I'm going to make the rules of when you could call. I'm going to make the rules of when you could do this, or I'm going to make all the rules. So it's like, so I know it can be, like I said, I never dealt with the abuse part, but I do know, like, standing in court with my son trying to get all this stuff, well, he's going through this legal process, it was like, no, he has never been abusive to her or to the child, but she still could ultimately make a decision to make it harder for him to say, I'm scared of you, not because you hit me, but because you're saying that you forcefully or aggressively desiring to see our child. So
Yeah.
with that other
In
part.
that case.
And it bothers me. This is really irritating. But anyway, so moving on from that, is it okay to say, and this was a good one for me, unfit living, is it okay for you to decide if your child cannot go to the father's house due to unfit living? And with the reason why I thought this was interesting, because what is unfit living to you versus
roaches, rats.
to the father? But what if he a hardworking man and he got,
He ain't gotta be with no roaches or rats.
But so you can decide if he can't be with his child. See, that's
nasty.
Y'all know what this panel today.
Yeah, but what if it's just a studio apartment?
Right. What
Does it have to have roaches or rats?
No, what if it doesn't have that? It's just
No. That's as long as you can make a garage a home. As long as it's home, a house don't make it a home.
Right.
So that's just bottom line. If you're caring for the child, one thing I said, and I said this recently on a post somebody had put out there. I said that my kids, if I cannot give them the world, even though I would do everything in my power until the day I die to make sure that they have, but one thing I know that they will always have is food, shelter, and clothes. As long as you are providing that for my children, I have nothing to say. Nothing at all. I don't care if you made this into your apartment and you decided that one's gonna take that couch and we're gonna pull that out and sleep in bed, the other one's gonna take the other one and we're gonna form a bed and we're gonna put 5 air mattresses on top of each other and we're gonna make it work. If that's what you have, that's what you have. As long as they're eating, you're actually raising them, they're up at school, they're up every day for school, they're not being neglected, then yeah, we have no issues. None whatsoever.
So you'll let your son Steven right now go to his dad's house if he was living in a studio apartment that had roaches?
And we said no roaches.
Well,
She just said that. No, she said we didn't have that.
What if they did have
So
roaches?
no, that would be my concern because here's the thing. No, that would be my concern because it can be dangerous to a child's health. Roaches, they crawl in your ears, they crawl in your nose. Yes, they do.
I know. I'm just.
That's what I'm saying. But see, y'all wanted to go there, so yes, I'm like, I'm gonna have a discussion into this, a discussion first. Like, you can't find a better place that don't have any roaches.
But what if he can't? But he's a good father, so that's
or
what we need to
anything like that. We're gonna have to work it out. But that as a mother, a nurturing person, that would concern me. That would be concerning because I'm concerned about his health. Because is he eating food that got roaches? Is he congesting roaches? Is he eating that? So yes, that would be a concern of mine. I have to be honest with you. Yes.
So whatever they had like the lights or something that was off.
Okay, he can come to my house until you get your lights back on.
So that's what I said. So what if
he can't do homework with no lights on. He can't take no bath with no lights on. That means if the lights ain't on, the water ain't hot either.
Yeah. So we were saying what was okay. So y'all said it is okay for you to decide. Look at
Well, it's so two-sided. It's so weird because it's like in my situation, the courts had mediators come in, and the mediators came to my home, watched me and my children, interact with one another, and checked out the whole house and made sure it was suitable. And they went over to his house and watched him interact with the children, and they came back and said we both were fit to care for the children. Now, take in mind, his girlfriend smokes. My children have never been around that. They're not around that. When my oldest was youngest, he had a respiratory viral infection, so smoking cigarettes was not good for him. So I asked the mediators, I said, please put that in your report because I really don't want my children around a woman that smokes. Not that I had anything against her. At this point, it's my son's health is what I'm concerned with. And then all of a sudden, she goes outside and smoke, or she goes in the garage and smoke, she doesn't smoke in the house. So, you know what I mean? It was...
Right, that's why I said, what is the criteria for fit? Because our fit may be a different fit from... Because I know my fit right now for my baby daddies, I guess when I was 18, I'd be like, I'm fit like a mug right now. But you know what I'm saying? But then it'll be fit for some people to be like, it's okay.
I guess in that case, it just depends on how you were raised. Because even me, I won't even date nobody that smokes, let alone let nobody in my house that smokes. I don't like smokers, period. No. It's like, okay, you cool, but dude, you smoke, like, that's just a nasty, that's almost like a hygiene no-no for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that's just it.
All right, so here goes another one.
Y'all chime in.
Anybody? So remarried. So I
Okay.
guess that part we kind of already touched that one.
What is it? What?
Is it okay to decide if your child gets to go to the parent? I mean, if you let the child go to the parent if they are remarried. I guess.
I'm fine with that. Here's the thing.
But what if she's evil? Evil.
No, realistically, we're not together no more. Okay, I don't expect you to be by yourself, and I hope you don't expect me to be by myself. As long as she is treating my kids right, I have no worries. I have no issues. As long as you're doing my kids right and they have no concerns about you, we're good.
And see, that's kind of hard though, because what is your right and their right?
The kids aren't
So no,
complaining
if they
they're
feel
being mistreated.
yeah, it's either right or wrong when it comes to the kids. It's like, okay, mom, she won't let us.
Y'all know y'all got some kids that's manipulators too.
Yeah,
Like,
they are.
yeah, my
Like,
kids, all my kids got strong.
Like my
personalities.
kids, I mean, just to say for an example, like, okay, as a step parent, I'm so thankful too because my step kids was never like that. But you kind of structure with your kids. You tell them to go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
And then at the step parents or the remarried house or
Uh-huh.
whatever, you go to bed at 7. Oh, she's mean because we have to go to bed at 7. You're allowed to go home and tell the mom this little story to, so.
So here's the situation with me, because it's funny that you should say that. My ex works nights. So as long as he was in the house, she was sweet as apple pie to my boys.
As always.
The minute he left to go to work, the BITCH came out. And they would come to me and say, Mom, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. I said, well, have you told your dad? Because I didn't want him saying, when I call him to say, hey, this is what's going on in your house, this is what's going on. I didn't want him trying to say I was manipulating the boys, getting them to say things like that, blah, blah, blah. Now, take in mind, he also has video surveillance in his whole house, but it doesn't have sound. So actions can be different than sound. So then I said, I kid you not, I said, do you know what's going on in your house? Now I'm trying to be cool because I'm really mad. Because I'm one of those, I will go over to your house and me and old girl get down. We be moving furniture around, literally. Because now you mistreating my children. But I'm going to give your father the opportunity to make it right. Because after that, there ain't going to be any more chances. These are my children at your house and you mistreating my kids. So now that protective comes in to where I don't want you going over your dad's house because you're mistreating my children. I asked him, I said, do you realize what's going on in your house? Blah, blah. No, that she would never do that to my kids, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And of course, I said, look, you guys open up your mouth and tell your dad what's going on because apparently he thinks I'm making things up. And we all had a family meeting and they sat down and they told their dad, boom, 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 boom. And then when we were done with that family meeting, I literally said to him, you take care of it or I will.
I get
Plain and
that.
simple.
I sure do get that.
And he took care of it because all of that came to an end.
Yeah.
Real quick.
See, my kids, I'm a sweetheart. My kids think I'm crazy. So for me, they already know. Like I said, my kids have strong personalities. They're gonna say what they're gonna say. If they feel like they're gonna be mistreated, they're gonna like, yeah, no, Dad, no, because they're gonna automatically say something to him. It's gonna be the same thing with me. They're gonna say something, and the thing is, that's why I'm very careful about who I let around my kids. Period. I don't let just anybody come around my children. Period. You're not that privileged. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much I'm loving on you, but I feel like if you ain't right with them, hey, we can date all day long, but if I know you ain't right for them, then you'll never meet them. Period. And it's pretty much the same thing like you said. Yes, I would have definitely said something to the kids and said, listen, you need to talk to your dad. Now, if you talk to your dad and the same thing is happening, then that's when I come in like, hey, they have concern. They're telling me, like you said, you had that meeting, which was good. So then they can hear from the kids' mom. Because sometimes when you're dealing with another person or the spouse, they're like, oh, I know why she did that. Oh, you just tripping. You just tripping. No, boo, this ain't even about you. This is about these kids. Now, if you don't want me to go upside her head, I suggest that you get it together or you don't, because that's the one thing I'm going to defend my kids, period. So they telling me that something ain't right, then something ain't right. They're going to be like, Mom, Dad, Mom, she said I told her you know what happened,
Right.
and they be scared because they know it's like I flip. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not gonna mistreat my children. Period. That's just not gonna happen. So if I feel like that's what's happening, I'm going to warn you. And just like you said, if you're gonna take care, like, hey, you touch them, I'm gonna touch you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just bottom line. So the topic, Nicole, is what is the topic?
The reasons.
The reasons why you would keep the parent away from your children, or vice versa. So if the reasons why a mother would keep their children away from their father, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of going through those. So that's all I have to say.
You know what I was thinking about as we was going through the topic. So I was kind of thinking about somebody that's close to me. Their son was going through the similar situation. Nicole, we was actually talking about my son's situation, about him having a kid coming in 15 days. So, my son, because it was plenty of times when my son was going through that emotional part about it, that he just wanted to give up. Because, you know, you got to continue to keep going to court. You know, you want to keep going to court and, you know, keep, when you need to do X, Y, and Z, they give him this whole thing that he got to do. Where you got to go to 2 parenting class. Oh, well, that parenting class wasn't good enough. I think you need to go to the next level parenting class. And then, okay, well, you didn't, you passed this drug test in this month. Okay, since that was like 60 days, let's just do one more so it gets to be very, just intense. Mm-hmm. And my friend, her son actually went through the same thing. And it was just like, I look at these young boys that they be ready to quit. Like, forget the son. F the son, F the family. I don't want to be bothered. And even to the point that sometimes they get the court orders to see the child, and the mom does not even oblige,
But that's what the courts want. They want the father to give up. They want them to stop pursuing.
Right, because I never knew that. And I'm like,
how old is your son?
My son is 23 now, but my friend, her son is also 23 too. And like they said that he could actually come and get his kids on Monday, on Thanksgiving. And like he will call and she would not answer the phone. She would not give him the kids on this day, and he would have to go and file another form, go back to court, and all this. And then to the point that it's so sad, because you see these young men that's trying to, be a part, these young black men who they say are the absentee fathers. You see them trying to do that, and he's like, I don't even care no more.
Can I tell you what you should do? And this is something that my cousin did. My brother, he ended up getting his point across too. Mm-hmm. You might need to go to that judge, have your son write a letter to that judge, let a lawyer look it over, y'all notarize it, ask for a meeting with that judge, to bring all the paperwork and say, this is what I've been dealing with. I have not been able to see my son. I've tried this, and he'll see it down the line. All I want to do is see my son. I want to be able to take him to the parks. I want to be able to take him to the zoo. I don't want to miss out on his life. So it's going through the court system. Sometimes judges will just see a case after a case after a case, and they'll just give them all the same. Like, y'all remember Bruce Almighty when he was playing God, and he selected everybody's and said yes. Right. To everybody's, and that's how sometimes these judges do. They and they don't even look at case by case. Sometimes they will actually just do it because they're tired of looking. They do this. This is just random. This is just every day. Yeah. So sometimes they get tired. I'm not about to put my extra time into.
But see, my son, he's not in that situation now. He lawyered up, so he real good. He got a great team now. So it's like this is about to come to the end. Like he had to pay a whole bunch of money, but right now he real good. But what I said about my friend's son is like, when you look at him, he's like, he ready to give up. But you know what? I had one older woman that had the same situation, but when she didn't comply with what the judge had ordered, he literally called the police on her.
That's what I was getting ready to tell you.
He called the police on her. When she got tired of sitting in jail, when she got tired of not answering the phone when he was supposed to pick up on a Friday, or not bringing it, to drop him off for his weekend or whatever, he called the police and she ended up being going to jail, getting incarcerated. So now it was
Oh yeah.
And I did not know that. And that's why I told that young man, I'm like, do not give up. When you supposed to pick up your child and she not there, call the police. Make a court, take them to,
record, file.
Yeah, Yeah. So, let's see, that said some causes. That was an interesting thing today when I was just looking up, when people get done playing these games, as far as, you know, because I laugh and I know it ain't right. Lord forgive me. I always ask the Lord to forgive me, but I know my heart. You know, we always say that.
Yeah, I know my heart.
But you know what? I just be like, you know, at this particular point, because of so many games that she played, she still has to understand that my son is African American. And I was like, son, I'm like, when he comes around about 16, because at the end of the day, the new generation is totally different. So he gonna have an understanding of, my son he has been like doing a movie since his son has been born. So like every day, like when we went to the courthouse, he like took a video. Like, son, I'm at the courthouse trying to get visitation for you. Like, it's so sad, but it's like one of these things that will go viral. Like, he's doing this whole movie that he always dedicate this stuff to his son. I'm just like, does she not realize, like, when he get like 15 and he see all this and like the hate that he's gonna have towards her, and then that's when she gonna be like, come, can you get your son?
Yeah.
Because you still can't, you know, take away his roots of who he is and what he is versus what she's trying to, you know, do right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's just so sad, because I'm like, you know, and so the cause of it, you know, I was just reading up statistics. It's like we always get these statistics from the outcome of stuff, but we never get it from the cause of it. Can you get what I'm kind of saying? Like, we say that, you know, high crime, poverty, or whatever, but we never could say that because a mom made a decision to make her own choice of being a single parent, this is why. You know what I mean? We never could singly say why this situation happened. But we could say the statistics, but baby, you could have avoided that if you would have allowed your son to be into his father's life, you know, when he wanted to be. Now, I can understand we have to protect our kids. We have to be the nurturers. We have to do that stuff. But if you have an opportunity for somebody that wants to be, but you deciding that you don't want them to be because you're mad at his new girlfriend, or you mad that he got married, or you mad that he don't want you no more, or you mad because you know, he's not paying child support, or you mad because he's not giving you enough money, that's an outcome that could have been avoided. But then yet still we have to still have this whole thing of this is why this child is like that, and no, the mother is why.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what Nicole was just saying. She said these bitter young women come from bitter mothers. They are taught what they are learned. They're taught what they're learned. So what they see. When their moms are walking around, I don't need no man, you don't need no man, you don't need him, girl, and then they got a baby, but she ain't tell her this is what you need to do to protect yourself from, you know, and it's okay to love because you haven't been loved.
Right.
And you see so many times, you see it in movies, you see it around you and your friends. It's like you see so many instances where a mother's marriage didn't work out, or they're by themselves. So even when that young daughter grows up to be married, it's like, soon as something goes wrong, they're right there. Well, girl, you don't need him, and if I was you, don't you chase him. He needs to know that you're worth $10 million and you got a crown and you're the queen. But she's not teaching you how to love your husband because she's bitter because of what her husband did to her or what her significant other did to her. So it's almost like misery loves company. You need to teach these young women that it's okay to love. It's okay to have somebody, and it's okay for your children to have a family.
Right.
Because our divorce rate is high. I don't even know what the divorce rate is now, but there's so many people around us getting divorced.
Like,
it's
like
crazy.
Normal,
yeah, it's like a normal thing. Like, oh, they're getting divorced. Oh, I was wondering, because I know he was, and she was, it's like, huh?
And I had already pre-prepped my son because he came from a kind of a generation of, you know, we try to voice in that generational curse thing, but he had already came from a generation of his father when I met him, he had 2 kids that was already in the foster care that I was already trying to get custody of. Now, come on now, I'm like 19 years old. I had 2 kids of my own, and so I used to travel from Minnesota to Chicago to get custody of it was actually 3. But we were trying to get all 3 to get them back to Minnesota. So I already been on this. So I'm like, when my son was starting to have his kids, so my son was already in pre-preparation of how to be a father, because it's like it was going to continue on because it's already, you know, they say destined to happen. So it's like, you know, teaching them the thing, and it's like the thing of when I get mad at some parents now, is like we also have to be that support system for them, because they don't know how hard it is for them to have to go through all this stuff to try. You know, I look at my son, I just remember the nights and stuff, him crying, him being like depressed, him being stressed out, and also my friend's son, they the same age, they grew up together, and like him going through the same thing. It's like trying to fight for the child, and they want to give up. Like they want to step out, but then they will be labeled as like they don't want to be a part. And he do want to be a part. But can I get mad that he was like, Mom, I gotta go to college. My son had to find something to do to figure out, because like every time you went to court, oh, you need to come back. Oh, well, okay, well, you need to do anger management. Why do I need to go to anger management? I was a good school. I played basketball. I graduated from high school. I'm on my way to college. Why do I got to go to anger management? What's the requirements? Oh, to get parenting time, you need to do this. Like some of the stuff that the judge was ordering for him to do just to get a Monday or Tuesday with his son, then he did that. Oh, well, do you do drugs, son? No, my son has never had a record of saying that he smoked weed or been caught, drinking in the car. Well, we just gonna do a drug test just to be sure. Okay, and it's like, I was looking at the judge, I'm like, where is all this coming from? To visit his son.
My question to judge is it a requirement? Is it a state law that I got to do this? Because if not, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be mean to the judge.
Right. No, it's not about that. It's about knowing your rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's about knowing your rights, because here's my thing. You don't even have to be hostile with it, judge. Is it a requirement? Is this a necessity?
But his thing, I don't mean to cut you off, but his thing, this is why he complied with it, because it was no biggie. But every time that he did comply with it and fulfill the whatever it was, they would come back in and say something else.
Exactly.
Just for parenting time.
But here's what you have to remember. Too, is that we don't look at it as, okay, we can look at it as, well, he don't do it anyway, I'll just go ahead and take it. But all that's doing is building his own record. He had to take a drug test. He had to do this. He had to do that. These are that's a setup.
But that's their son, though.
That's why I said, if I'm sitting there in front of a judge and he asked my son, like, I would say this: my son was at my house and something happened or whatever, and the police had to come, but it was around my house. It wasn't necessarily at my house, but but it affected it. So they were asking people around the neighborhood. First thing he asked me was, well, do your son have any friends around here? I said, no, my son don't even live here with me. He lives with his dad. But you're not about to label my son that quick to say, oh, well, it probably happened because your son was hanging around. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to set up a profile for our kids like that. So that's why I said I would have definitely asked the judge, is this a requirement? Is there some type of, because if it's a requirement, then yes. But if state law says I have to do this, then I have to do it. But if it's saying no, then I'm wondering, is it a requirement? Because if it's not, I'd rather not do it. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. I don't do any of that. I have a clean record. You can check my background. Mm-hmm. So if I don't have to do this, then why are you making me do this? Right. That's just bottom line.
But I think it gets to a desperation part like we would do as mothers, like they want to see their child. So it's like, they come through all this stuff, and then you have the other person that comes and talks to them like, wherever you do this, it'll be, and then they build their hope up so much. And, like when you'll get to do it the next time, all you got to do is this. And it's like, you keep bringing stuff up. So, another thing it said, I put down here, I said, imagine the pain it causes a child to be put in the chaos of other parents, bickering to be with one another.
So meaning that they're playing the tug of war game, like the one wants them to come.
I remember that's when we had first met, Edie, when you was going through that. Oh my goodness, like going back and forth.
That's gotta be a hurtful thing.
Back and forth.
Because you got to kind of make the decision of, if you had to do it over again, would you just would have been like, I'm just taking the kids away? Well, they was like, what, 14, 13?
Yeah, 14, 15.
Yep.
Because I wanted to do sometimes, do I regret just like when I would just took my kids when they was young, but they didn't be one of that. I was trying to still go out and party. I was like, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never been that person to be like, I was telling Keith earlier, I was like, this one woman told me, she was like, look, girl, that's what the father is there for. Like, you don't try to, you never do that part. Like, leave them, let them be with dad.
He became facetious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He became bitter.
Mm-hmm.
He was out to try and like break me. He was out to destroy me. He was out to crush me. Just because of how our marriage was.
All the way.
Oh no, I believe because of how our marriage was. I always believe man is the head, and you abide by what the man say, blah blah blah. So I guess he really took that for granted. Mm-hmm. And then when we divorced, and I became this woman that he had never seen before, which I became extremely strong. And it's funny because she used to tell me, Edie, you can do this. You can do this. And I'd be like, no, crying, no, I can't do it. She's like, you can do it. You can do it. And then when it was forced on me, I became this woman that I didn't even know I could become. You know what I mean? And when I just got hell in me, that it was over. Because then I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't stop until how things were. And even now, I still feel like me paying child support, it is what it is. But at the same time, when they do this financial whatever,
They go based off your income.
they go off your income and they'll say, oh, we'll lower it $3.
Yeah.
We'll lower it $6.
What's that? You
What
going
is
to
that?
lower
I
the
know.
4
One
for
man would be
Yeah.
like,
You lower my monthly child support the 4 for 4?
Yeah, right.
That's been way, y'all, but I am not trying to be funny. That's why I say I know I'm not no bitter woman, because my son, the one that I'm talking about now, I got 2 kids by him. I was getting like $8 for like $8 a week. Forever. You know what I'm saying? Like $8. Like he would lie around that whole situation. But I mean, like, and it wasn't that, for me, I just always thought personally, I never would have to force a man. That's why it kind of makes me mad about your situation. Why would you have to force a man to take care of his kids?
Right.
I ain't going to child support nothing. You know these kids here, especially if you married. You already know how it functions around here, the bills. You know what we got to put in the bank. You know what we got to take out the bank. You know what's due on this day. And then you leave after we separate or we divorce, and you act like you just going to walk away. So I'm going to chase you and tell you that 8,000 or 9,000, you know, whatever money you were putting into the house, like, where I'm getting it from? It's been me and you for the last 10 years.
It was funny that you
You
said
know
that.
what I'm saying? I'm not going to chase you to do that. If you don't get out of here.
He actually came into a large inheritance from his father.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, he wasn't trying to come after me. He wasn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until he got his money that he became this person that I'm the man. It's gonna be my way, and I got the money, I got the finances. That's why I said we both was lawyered up, and my family literally kicked in. And I want to say my family back home. I mean, I had people literally paying for my lawyer besides me working, because he, like I said, he had a large inheritance that he came
But
into.
don't forget the part where the reason why you had to pay child support because he quit his job, they weren't banking on that inheritance. They couldn't look at that.
That's right. They would not look at his inheritance money.
So he quit his job, right?
Oh, he dropped down to seasonal.
Yeah.
So he was collecting
They would do all kind of stuff.
Girl, he did the most.
I know.
So he didn't
That's
have
why I was
to
getting
work. He did
$8.
the
I'm like,
most.
how's you riding around here in a Mercedes
Right.
and I'm getting $8?
Girl,
Okay.
lavish house.
Right,
built.
right.
He did the most.
You know what? I want to talk Ella. You know what? She put grandparents are also effective. Ella, I looked up every state law, because you know what? Because after that, she put restraining orders on my daughters. The only person she didn't put a restraining order was me. Because my daughters, I would tell them, like, y'all, they would go on their little social media rants like, B, we can't stand you, why you take the kid, you know, kids being kids 16, 18. But the only person she didn't do it was with me. I mean, we in my basement, you know me in my basement, we got tons of toys that we've been buying him for years. He got like hockey games and all this stuff. And I think it's only like in New Jersey that they got laws for grandparents. Like you have to, it's like you have to have pictures of them when they were born and that they live with you and her parents. Because her parents actually kicked her out. So where camera I'm at? Her parents actually kicked her out. She was living with me because once they found out that she was pregnant by a black man, you know, she was staying with me. But after she had the baby, they became the
Let's work it out.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
But so we thank y'all for tuning in. We pushed through this today. We will be here next Thursday. Who turn it?
My turn.
Good.
Next week.
This turn.
Good.
And
We want to thank you guys for supporting us. What we got coming up? Oh, November 29th, my birthday. Actually, my birthday is every day this month, so make sure you cash app everything. You send me gifts. I accept it all month. Wait, we don't hurry up on my birthday. Hold on. It's my birthday all month. My birthday is November 30th, November 29th. We are having...
Girl. The Moxie.
November 29th, wait, we having karaoke at Stanley's. And then December the 1st, we are having our first year celebration.
The Four Opinions
The
party.
Four Opinions at the Moxie. So, love y'all.
See you guys next
Bye.
week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, we
don't know where
gotta,
we're
Keep us like,
Keith don't
cut it off.
We pay Keith. Keith don't pay us. What you mean?
Keep us like, wrap
But,
it up.
but wait a minute. We pay Keith. Keith.
They put it all in.
Turn the
Keith.
phone off.
We pay you. You don't pay
Can you
us.
turn our phone
Don't
off,
try to
The
smile.
phone key.
No,
Turn the phone off.
You gotta do that on live.
We got a situation going on.
What's wrong?
What you mean?
What kind of
It ain't
situation?
got nothing to do with y'all.
Oh.
Y'all better have security.
Just
out
chill like